Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 17th of December. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right. Okay. This is a kind of rubber meets the road moment. We've got today is Today is the second trading day after after QQQ broke below the daily middle band. Did we have a break below it yesterday? I'm pretty sure we will have done, but I haven't actually checked. Let's see it. All right, it closed at 613 and it was at 611. Okay, so we've had two closes below the daily middle band. One interesting stat I came up with when I was looking at the stats for the post yesterday was that 7 out of the 8 previous breaks were actually closed back over at the end of the second day. Today is that second day, is worth noting. Today is also the only bearish leading day in the rest of December until New Year's Eve. So I think one way or another, that really means that if we're going to see a further decline here, it's likely to be today. So looking at the setup here, not an awful lot to see here. Nice looking head and shoulders. It has broken down. We're waiting to see. If we get over the right shoulder high, which is in about the 6930 area, I think. Hang on, wait a second. I've got that at... Yeah, 69.31 basically. So if we get back over that, that fails, and that gives us a target back up at a retest of the high. We've already got a bigger one from target back up at a retest of the all-time high, obviously from the failure of the head and shoulders a couple of weeks ago. NQ again, head and shoulders again. Basically, any decent break of the weekly pivot will fail the pattern and set up the retest of the high. RTY. This one hasn't been looking quite the same. SPX and Qs have been the weakest, mainly because tech is the strongest in those two. If we see a break over 2598 and a very small amount of change, basically 2598, then again we'd be looking at a retest of the high. I'm quite liking some more downside here. I'm not convinced it'll last into the second end of the day if we see it. On YM, this kind of looks like a bull flag forming, but not a particularly high quality one. DAX could be forming a head and shoulders. ESTX, this very much looks like a bull flag, and this also on RSI looks like a bull flag. So it's still 6 of one and half dozen of the other. There's a very good case for seeing some more downside here, although some of that case has disappeared. I'll come to that on the RTH charts. But equally, there's indicators down, there's indicators up. What I would say is I'm not expecting to see much in the way of downside before Christmas. This is Christmas. This is all holiday tape. So my expectations for the downside are low. We'll probably more or less hold up between Christmas and New Year, but I have to say there's a couple of years I remember when we've seen some pretty impressive declines in that period. But I'm thinking we're probably safe from those big declines until after next week. After that, all bets are off. We will see. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture. Oh, by the way, this is just interesting. I'm going to post this as the chart of the day in a couple of days. This is actually aluminium. Now, this has been going up since Independence Day or whatever, Liberation Day, what Trump called it. But actually, I don't think this has got any great amount of relevance, although it has made aluminium relatively expensive in the US. But this is actually a really nice looking double bottom, which is starting to break up here. I'm thinking we may be on the way back up to this high. That's going to cause everyone pain inside the US now. It doesn't really have anything to do with tariffs, but it's a pretty cool chart. And I'll post that as the chart of the day in a couple of days, I think. All right, looking at the hourly charts, the SPX hourly RSI 14 sell signal has made target, so that is no longer pending and waiting for a decline. Qs basically made target too. Dyer had already failed. IWM, I think this one made the possible near miss target. Nope, it's made the full target too. That has cleared all of the early RSI 14 sell signals that I was saying, I was expecting to play out at some point. They've all now played out. In terms of the 15-minute charts, we did have a 14 RSI 14 buy signal brewing, but we lost the divergence before it broke up. On the daily charts, obviously nowhere near the daily middle band, and really not likely to get there. In terms of the 15-minute chart, we didn't get a buy signal on the 15-minute RSI 14 on Dyer. We did get one. Yeah, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed on the Qs. And on SPX, we don't have one. So I'm not 100% sure about that. Might have one. But I don't think the setup's particularly strong. In terms of the daily charts, we closed above the daily middle band on SPX and above the daily middle band on SPX. I'm thinking we may well do the same again today. It's all about the Qs, and if I was to pick an ideal path to take today, it would actually be a substantial drop in the morning, all of which was recovered by the end of the day. But obviously, as far as I'm aware, I think the AI trade is beginning to unravel, Doug, and I think that's why we're seeing the Qs. Well, this latest rally is the first time we've just basically persistently seen the Qs trailing the rest over the last few weeks. And let's face it, the financial and investment flows look like a Ponzi scheme. Certainly, it's not a sustainable setup. OpenAI's got no profits, losses are increasing. It's got very ambitious targets, but it's currently got no earnings at all. And they're sort of basing 1.5 trillion of spending on, for a lot of it to go to OpenAI, which in any case is leading at the moment anyway. But I mean, it's all looks very, 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 very bubbly. And actually, the whole market's about AI at the moment. The rest of the market hasn't really significantly risen in the last 2 years. The economy at the moment looks as though it's going down the toilet, and I think there's no particular reason to think that it won't. Practically all of the growth this year was AI. It's not a comfortable situation. And I think we're building up to a sizable top. And frankly, I posted a couple of charts suggesting that we may actually not see any significant returns on equities in the next 10 years. We've seen multiple periods like that before after periods of great overvaluation, and that's what we're looking at right now. Anyway, looking at SPX, we've closed back above. Closed above both days. We've closed below slightly both days, but as I said, 7 out of 8 times that this is broken down, we've seen a close below the daily middle band since the April low. 7 of those closed back above at the end of the second day, and today is the second day, so I'm watching that with interest. Okay, let's have a look at DX. DX, we are trading sideways at the moment. Obviously, we've got an inflection point here. We've got a pretty decent looking falling megaphone here, which could break up, but obviously we've still got an open double top target down and in the 97.37 to 97.47 area. CB might be a falling wedge here. I've got a larger head and shoulders which is broken down with the target in the 112.04 area. Got to say, we've got a lot of patterns which have broken up in directions suggesting that bonds should be going down. ZN, we've broken down with a target in the 112.24 to 112.26 area. Not entirely sure what's happening here. I think this might be a bear flag or a triangle forming. All right, CL. This was the big news yesterday because we finally delivered that retest of 56 that I've been talking about for weeks, month or two. But because we just missed doing the full retest down here, and we've done it now. And on RBOB, we have gone down, we've retested this low, and actually, in terms of the big big falling wedge on the RBOB chart, this has actually gone below. This looks like a bearish underthrow. Does that mean we've got a low here? Well, we haven't got any positive divergence. And heating oil, just want to show you that one. This is the IHS. It formed, it broke up, it failed. Generally speaking, I'd expect to see a retest of this low. We might not get that here, but I'm not seeing any particular reason to think that we wouldn't get it here. This is a very classic setup. Late, nice quality IHS, broke up, failed, goes below the right shoulder. Generally speaking, you will get a retest of the low. So I'm not thinking that the low is in here, but I'm looking around for a low on oil. And particularly if we can pick up some positive divergence, we could get a very, very nice low on oil. So I'll be watching out for that. All right, and I'll be watching that daily. Looking at NG, we're seeing a little bit of a rally here, 60-minute buy signals getting towards the possible near miss target. This has been a very, very, very steep decline. I'm watching for a potential reversal pattern, but I'm just thinking this might be an oversold rally before this continues down again. GC, I've got this as a likely bullish triangle, which is breaking up towards the high, and silver, I have that as a triangle too, and that already broke up and retested the high. So not seeing anything really bearish here. I was watching the sell signals on palladium and platinum. Both of them have fell down. Although I've got possible 60-minute sell signals brewing again. But again, this is looking pretty bullish. In terms of the retest of the October high on palladium, we've already seen it. I am thinking, and I've been showing on the bigger picture charts, that we may well be going a lot higher on both. And at the moment, not seeing anything to contradict that. HG, obviously we had a double top breakdown here. This is, at the moment, however, this is a sideways consolidation. That's probably going to result in at least a retest of the high here and very possibly higher prices. Okay, not a lot to see on the currencies. USD, possible large rising megaphone forming. GBP small double top has broken down with a target in the 1.3225 area. On USD/JPY, 60-minute buy signals reached the possible near miss target. Still wondering about this possible flag forming. Hasn't made it down to the flag support yet. Not really seeing a lot on the others. 6-minute buy signal on CAD's made the possible near miss target. Not much to see really on Australian dollar or NZ, which could be forming a head and shoulders. And actually, Australian dollars could be forming a head and shoulders as well. KC, we've failed at the monthly pivot and are continuing down at the moment. No particular reason to think that's going to change. SB, failing at the monthly pivots so far. I'd like to see the double bottom target made in the 15.43 area, but obviously we've now spent almost a month not making that target. So I'm wondering about that. CC, we've broken down for a little rising megaphone here. We may be about to resume the downtrend. Don't see an obvious reversal pattern yet. CT, I was talking about needing to see a retest of this low. We've seen it. This is a potential double bottom. I'm looking for support here. I think there's a pretty good case that CT is going to reverse back up here. Let's see whether it does. On lumber, nice looking double bottom. Got a target in the 583 area. Not seeing anything particularly to think that's not to suggest that isn't going to make it. We've got a weak 60-minute sell signal which could fail shortly. On ZW, we have gone lower and we have we retested? So not quite. We're very close to a retest of the October low here. Corn, we're pretty close to a retest of the November low. I'm wondering about both of those going lower. On ZS, we have the head and shoulder target has been made. Reach target 16th of December. So that's looking good. Looking around for potential signs of reversal. Quite often you will find you get a reversal when you reach the target or pretty close to it. ZL, we have gone slightly lower here. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. Waiting to see if that will deliver. Obviously, we've retested both the November and October lows now. Live cattle, just moving sideways at the moment. Looks like a bullish consolidation. Could be a small double top forming. HE. We've broken up with a target in the 88.65 to 90.2 area. Not seeing anything at the moment to suggest that isn't going to make it. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions. I think all of the big AI, I think Nvidia is making wild for what they're making for the kind of industry they're in. If you take away the AI stardust from it, the yields the margins they're making are ridiculously high. These are what an economist would call supernormal profits, which would be likely to drop. So I think there's a lot of air to come out, and I think it may be starting to come out now. We'll see. In which case, we get a pretty challenging year for the bulls next year. We'll see how it goes. All right. Cheers, mate. In that case, everyone take care. Catch you guys tomorrow.